That's not a Ford. That's not a Coyote. That's not a half-full leaking pond. And we're not in Pennsylvania anymore. Hey everybody, Adam here with Hometown Acres. I came here to visit another Adam from another YouTube channel, Indy Farm Life. I couldn't sit at home and watch my pond fill anymore. I had to go visit one that's already full. And Adam and I have actually become friends through YouTube. We've known each other, we've been talking to each other for about 2 years now. It all started back when we first started digging our pond, and I started asking him questions because at that time you had just finished digging yours. So we wanted to come up here and bring you guys along and kind of show you the vision that we have for our pond is very similar to what you've done here. It's a recreational swimming pond, building a dock, putting in a beach, and just get some ideas for some of the things that we want to do with our pond in the future. But Adam, give me a little bit of details about this pond. How was it dug? How deep is it? How big is it? All that kind of stuff.
Yeah, so thanks for coming out, you and the family. Pond was dug in the summer of 2019. We waited until the dead of August and July when it was really dry. Fully excavated pond, there's no dam. This is just an old flat field that we dug a massive hole in. And you saw the berm, the amount of dirt that's sitting back there. But yeah, we dug the hole 2019 and just waited, let it fill up. 100% clay, no issues with it holding water. We knew that was gonna be the case. We actually, the case is sitting over there. Yeah. We dug a test hole and it held water just fine. You actually had water coming, you had groundwater coming up,
We
did.
Right?
So we dug the test hole and within a matter of a day, we had like 11 feet of water in it. So we knew we were golden then. And we dug it in the spring when things were wet. But 2019, it's taken 2 or 3 years to kind of get to this water level, and we see it up and down over the year. We don't have a lot of watershed feeding it, and if you take a peek at our overflow over here, you can see that we're still down 18 inches from full. But yeah, man, this has just been like the most enjoyable thing about the property. The beach, fishing with the kids, it's awesome.
Yeah, and I will leave a link in the description to the playlist, because the good thing is you had started YouTube by the time you did the pond, so you have the whole build process documented. And if you guys liked our pond build videos, you're gonna definitely wanna go check out his, because they used even larger equipment. What equipment did they have in here to dig that out?
Yeah, so the neighbor, if you guys can see the cornfield behind us, he owns 700-800 acres of corn and beans, and he's got all the fun toys. He's got, I think it was a John Deere 200D excavator that he brought out here. He had a 7 Series tractor towing a 30-ton dump wagon. And at one point he realized that the 7 wasn't quite big enough, so he just wanted to make all of us drool even more and brought out his 9 Series tractor. And so there's some videos of when he had a 30-ton dump wagon, 18 feet down in this hole, and it just spewing smoke as it's pulling this trailer up. It was, man, you want to talk about a kid on Christmas. I had some days out here where I was just in awe. It was fantastic.
Yeah. So yeah, I'll leave a link in the description to his pond build series. Other than that though, I think we're gonna get rolling with the footage of kind of our day out here at the pond and show you kind of what the goal is for our pond in the future. All right, say hey to Doug.
Douglas.
Doug, sorry you weren't invited. I don't really want you here.
I only have so much room.
So you might recognize the third gentleman in this video as Kyle from Spicer Designs. He's another YouTube friend of ours who just happens to also live in Indiana, only about 2 hours away from Adam. So he made the trip up as well, and we couldn't just spend the entire day playing on the beach with a John Deere 4052R sitting there. We had to get that out and try that out as well. Kyle and I both have Coyote tractors, and as much as we wanted to hate this John Deere tractor, it was pretty slick. And Adam actually has a hydraulic top and tilt kit on the back of his tractor, which means that the top link and the side link are hydraulically driven, so you can adjust it from the seat of the tractor, which makes a box blade way more useful and almost turns it into like a 6-way blade on a bulldozer.
He certainly looks the part. He got on there and moved the loader. He goes, "Oh, that's butter smooth."
It looks like your loader moves like there are two functions at once. It's really pretty nice.
Trader. Trader.
That's pretty nice. The loader control multi-function at one time.
That's what I was just telling him. Like, it looks like it's like,
It's very easy. You got to try this thing. Yeah, being able to lift and pull out and all that stuff at the same time, it's pretty smooth. Like this right here. I think it is. A lot easier than on the Coyote.
So yeah, that was our day here at the pond. I hope that helps paint a picture more for you guys who always ask me about putting fish structure in the pond, or am I gonna stock it or anything like that. That's not the intent of the pond. It's more recreational for swimming. And actually you did stock your pond, and we found out you had some hybrid bluegills in there, and they're aggressive little suckers. They'll come up and, I mean, they don't bite, but they'll nip at you. And you know, like some of the girls didn't want to get in the pond because of that. So
Particularly Kyle from Spicer Designs.
yeah, Kyle didn't want to get in. Forgot to mention Kyle from Spicer Designs was here this weekend as well. But yeah, that is not the goal of our pond. It's not going to be a fishing pond. It's going to be for recreational swimming and stuff like that. But it was a great fun day. We had a blast. Thank you. Your pond is beautiful here. And we were talking a little bit earlier about, you know, we're both named Adam. We both have YouTube channels based around property ownership, ponds, tractors, that kind of stuff. But the similarities don't stop there. It's actually, when we first started talking, it's very eerie how much we have in common.
It was a little creepy, you know. We kind of exchanged comments on YouTube and said, "Hey, I want to dig a pond and let's connect, right?" And
yeah.
Turns out, you know, we're both named Adam. And from there, we said, you know, what do you do for day to day? If, you know, YouTube's not your main gig, right? So in this case, it is now. But we said, all right, well, I'm actually an accountant. He said, well, me too. Oh, CPA? Yep. Where do you work? Where did you work? Where'd you work?
I started my career at Ernst & Young right out of college.
Ditto.
Yeah. And not only, you know, professional career-wise, but family. So we're both married to people who work in pediatric therapy.
Pediatric therapists, yeah.
Yeah, my wife's an occupational therapist and your wife is...
Speech language pathologist.
Yeah. We both have 2 kids, the oldest being a boy. You have Otto, I have Anderson.
Yep, about a year apart.
And I've got Josie, and then you've got Nora.
What's interesting about those two is those 2 babies weren't even in the conversation when you and I first met.
Yeah.
And then found out you're having a girl, and then 3 months later, we had a girl.
Yeah. We wrote down a couple other things. What else?
I gotta check my list here. Oh yeah, our kids, they have the same stuffed animal that they have actually both named the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So that's where I had little chills yesterday when your son was like, "Oh yeah, that's Ellie," and I was like, "Yeah, it is. How'd you know that? It's a little creepy."
Yeah, they have the same exact stuffed elephant that they both sleep with at night, and it's crazy. And that's what I love about YouTube is the people we've gotten to met. You, Kyle from Spicer Designs, and neighbor Doug. I've mentioned this a ton of times. If it wasn't for YouTube, we never would have met neighbor Doug, who lives, 3/4 of a mile away from us. And then actually getting to make real relationships with people like Adam here. And, it took us 2 years of Zoom meetings and phone calls for us to actually come out here and get together. But it was a great weekend, and honestly, it went way too fast. We were just talking about, we got here Friday. It's now Sunday morning. We're getting ready to pack up and leave, and the weekend just went by way too fast.
Yeah, we definitely need to get something else on the books, and that's the key, right? Is getting it on the books, because if you don't, it's never going to happen.
If you don't put it in the calendar, it's just going to be one of those things. Oh, we never ended up doing that this year. And
Yeah,
then,
it was.
so we made it a point to put it on the calendar this year and make it out here.
And we got great weather today, not so much, but
Yeah.
man, thanks for coming out. It was a blast. We have to do it again sometime.
Yeah.
Bring your neighbor Doug along next time, maybe.
Yeah. So anyway, I think that's going to about wrap this one up. Like I said, if you want more pond building content, we're not going to be building another one for the foreseeable future. But if you want to go check out some more videos on pond building, go check out Adam's playlist. I'll leave a link in the description. If you enjoyed this one, give me a big thumbs up, click that subscribe button, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thanks for watching. Now, we couldn't leave the great state of Indiana without stopping and visiting the most famous pond build within recent months here at Neil's with Dig Drive DIY. If you guys haven't seen this pond build, I think you've gotten, a combination of multi-million views in the last couple weeks and months on this pond build, and rightfully so. This thing is impressive. I haven't seen anything else like this on the internet. Tell us a little bit about how you came up with this pond build idea and how it all transpired.
So right out of high school, I started digging ponds with my cousin.
Yep.
And we did a lot of farm ponds and things of that nature. And every time I was doing a pond, digging a new pond, I thought, if I ever did one of these, I want to put a sidewalk all the way around the top so I could maintain the edge and keep the stones nice and collected. So this has been brewing in my mind for about 25 years.
Yeah. Now, do you have a rough ballpark idea of what the size is? Is it like 1/10 of an acre, or?
I say it's about the size of a baseball infield.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know in terms of acres what it is. It's pretty small, actually.
But let's do a quick walk around here and just show you what makes this pond so unique.
So like I said, I'd always wanted concrete around the top, and the biggest motivation for that was because it's hard to maintain the edge between the grass and where the pond starts. And we like to use limestone around the top to keep the edge clean. This is what we call in Indiana a number 4 crushed limestone. It's not so much for walking. It's not so that you can walk around the top. It's just to try to keep the weeds at bay and maintain that fresh edge on the top. We use pea gravel on the beach rather than sand. And this is what a lot of people call river stone or river rock. And we like these because it just stays fluffed up better. Sand over time can tend to compress sometimes and can grow a lot of weeds. So my brother used pea gravel in his beach, and that's been 10 years now, and his pretty much looks just like this does right now.
With no maintenance.
With no maintenance.
You might have me convinced on, we've got a little base layer of sand in ours right now, but we'll see. I may end up going with some pea gravel instead.
The only trouble that he has is, well, it's not necessarily trouble, it's just something different, is that the fish will bed in the bottom part of the...
Right.
He has fish in his pond, and we don't want to have fish in our pond. So this is...
Now, do these rocks get slimy at all?
No, they won't get too slimy. They won't get slimy.
Okay. The other really cool thing is, this is probably the coolest dock I think I've ever seen.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that.
So again, I wanted a zero maintenance type of thing, and I had always had this vision of like a floating concrete pier over the water. So hopefully my water level will be up high enough to where there's maybe like a 6 to 8 inch gap underneath the concrete, and so I won't have to maintain any deck boards or do any stain or have any rotted wood ever, hopefully, with this setup. So we poured some big pillars with, each pillar has a big footer underneath of it, and laid the deck across the top, and I wanted it to all be the same level all the way around the top. So that's kind of what we came up with. It was just a homegrown engineered type of thing. There was no real engineers on this project.
Yeah, when I saw Neil start this pond project, it was funny. I'm just as loyal of any of your subscribers, and I was waiting every Sunday for a new video to come out on the progress in the pond. And very excited to get the opportunity to come out here and see it in person. This is pretty cool.
Yeah, we're trying to get it full. That's our biggest challenge right now, is getting water in it. So
Welcome.
far, it's got 4 or 5 feet of water, and it's just rainwater. So we haven't even, I tried to put in a well once, and we got distracted with vacation and stuff. So we got to get back at it. But we are going to get it filled up full of water before the end of the year.
Hopefully you don't struggle with it for 2 years like we have.
I hope not too. That's unfortunate, but we have different soil types. So we got
Yeah.
really heavy clay here in Northeast Indiana.
Yep.